matters. There is, in fact, a reason I'm reviewing these materials that are normally securely contained. For 2 days ago, May 1st, I was unexpectedly dragged into a serious incident. The passenger plane I was taking to Kirijo was hijacked, when there hasn't been a domestic hijacking in 10 years. 10 years? That's a number that comes up a lot in Persona games, but that would mean 8 years before Persona 3, so I wonder if there was a hijacking like Persona 1 or 2, because I don't know how long ago those games actually happened. The top brass of the police, afraid to make any mistakes, sent in the shadow operatives. The case itself was resolved quickly and all the culprits arrested. None of the passengers were harmed either. But the hijackers' true motive wasn't terrorism or political demands, as one would expect. I was surprised to find they were really after my cargo. It was a sealed box from the ergonomics research lab that we were transporting to Yakushima on that flight. No one thought that a risky hijacking could have been in pursuit of just the cargo, and a result of one of the objects was stolen. The arrested suspects are all in police custody, but none of them have any memory of carrying out the crime. Someone was pulling their strings, very probably using uncommon methods. Considering that the puppet master was targeting shadow-related cargo, I doubt they'll be easy to deal with. As for what was stolen, Igus mentioned its name a moment ago. The 5th-generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labrys, is an older model from 2 generations ago. Since shadow-related ergonomic research documents were lost in an accident, we know little of Labrys. When did we discover Labrys? Because Igus was believed to be the last of her kind. Does anyone find this weird? Igus was the last robot that could fight shadows. Then Metis showed up, but Metis is actually just sort of like a weird Dark Hour mirror of Igus. Then here's Labrys. I'm like, okay, guys, how many other robots are we going to run into? She's an android, most likely a female version, just like Igus. Are there male versions? But instead of a weapons loadout, she seems to have fitted with some sort of experimental equipment. That's all we know. Still, thanks to our collaborator's quick wit, the escaping vehicle was traced to the Inn system. It wasn't easy, but we managed to pinpoint its location. It was headed for the city of Inaba, where there may have been shadow-related activity last year. Once the preparations are complete, I'll head there myself. My mind wanders a bit. Though I was unaware of them, the shadow of the sins committed in the Kirijo name is still so painful 10 years on, that I sometimes want to avert my eyes. It's 12 years on now! Mitsuru, you're just bad at time! But now is not the time to be bound by the past. Now is the time to act. And actually it's even more than 12 years, because you have to assume that Kirijo's sins did not start exactly whenever the, ergonomics disaster happened. That was well into them. I suddenly notice that Igus has been staring at me worriedly. I give her a smile and stand up decisively. Now I don't want to save. Actually, probably won't ask now, because it has to get us into Inaba. Oh, we'll find out who else has a limousine. We're pulling up to Yasu Inaba, the central town of Inaba. There's no one in my limo, which is weird. Though it's a central town, the main street seems nearly deserted. There's virtually no activity to be seen through the car windows. It was confirmed that the vehicle transporting Labrys was abandoned here. Our first move would be confirm the situation. Or so I thought. I attempt to ignore the rude stares of people trying to get a look inside the car, and focusing instead on the scent of my tea. People keep crowding around when we park. We've had to move a number of times already. We didn't get a moment's peace until the car reached a junkyard into the outskirts of town. As I was trying to keep from sighing, Iga spoke up from her seat in the front of me.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Mitsuru-san, may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
Understood.
Igus' poker face is perfectly blank. Though I understand what she's getting at. I actually wanted to say something along those lines to those around me for a while. Still, it would be galling to hear from someone else just now.
All I told them was to give us a car with enough space.
Our contact has arrived.
The man is approaching us with someone whose cooperation I specifically requested. His name is Detective Kurosawa. Before I can welcome him, Iga speaks up.
This was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
You want to know how I did it?
Lately, it feels like whenever Igus wants to voice her opinion, she intentionally puts on the robot act. They mentioned this at the lab, that if Igus still speaks in that stiff, formal manner, either she's getting too human, or is developing habits, or she's doing it on purpose.
We
Honestly,
appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Long time no see, miss. And I guess, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Detective Kurosawa was an officer in the police box near the school we attended 3 years ago. He was shunned for cooperating with us and busted back down to officer, but now the shadow operatives are official, recognize he's in good graces again. A man who can be trusted beyond the confines of his station to solve a case, even so far as to bend the rules, is a rare breed. Detective Kurosawa's expression has softened while he makes small talk with Aigis, which makes me realize this may be the first time he's seen Aigis in her combat form.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Ah, sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
You must have understood what we were trying to go incognito. Though, it's kind of him not to point out that our vehicle and attire are completely unsuited to that goal as he enters the limousine. He sits, and does not even wait until the door is closed before he gets to the point.
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into. First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year. One of the suspects mentioned the word persona.
So what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish. If you can take what's in the record at face value, it seems persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs? What does that mean?
Just what it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in the TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing. Apparently the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus-pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
I like what just happened. If you know what just happened, you'll appreciate it too. If you don't, I'm not going to talk any more about it. What I asked him is to collect information about a serial murders that occurred in Inaba last year. The shadow operatives aren't public knowledge, so I thought the local police would be more willing to speak with him, but the results surpassed my expectations. Though it is slightly frustrating to already run against something I'm powerless to achieve myself.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny, though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes. If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
Detective Kurosawa jokes with us before exiting the limousine, waving casually back at us. I had nothing to say as I watched him leave, rotating his shoulders to work out some kinks. Aigis, though, felt the need to comment.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
Can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Suited member.
Yes. First, we'll need to test the claim that persona users can enter TVs.
I'm trying to remember. I don't recognize that voice, though. It almost sounds like Junpei's, but not quite. We are at a junkyard, after all, and I can see a number of consumer electronics that have been discarded illegally. Aigis looks around and points at a certain pile as she gets out of the car.
There's a discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
Wait, Aigis.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
That's not what I was worried about. Aigis isn't wearing anything like a disguise, and... No, I'm overthinking this. We've already attracted enough attention. Even if we leave now without doing anything, our pictures could still end up on the internet. Well, except that you're in a limousine where no one can see inside. I'm assuming your windows are tinted. It looks like it from the outside. Let them gossip about strange people in funny clothes. It'll become some urban legend. My mind made up, I step outside wearing my special equipment. Once Aika sees I follow her, she gives a small nod and stretches her hand out towards the screen.
Amazing!
Her hand, it's inside the TV screen. But the screen itself seems undamaged. Aika's hand is swallowed up to her wrist, as if she pulled it in a bucket of water.
It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
Not particularly. No. Wait a moment. It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively, since this is my first encounter with it. but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
That voice from above. It sounds very familiar. But all I see in the direction from where it came from is a man in an outlandish red cape. I hesitate for a moment. Could it be?
Akihiko?
The man leaped from the stacked tower of TVs like an
You
acrobat.
didn't show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
In spite of myself, I bury my face in my palm.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
Don't tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about that.
That's it. I'm never mentioning the subject of our appearance again.
Anyway, we can go inside from that TV, right? What are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
Akihiko's right. That's exactly what we've been trying to act as quickly as possible to avoid since this case
We're
has begun.
different from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever. And now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating? We agreed to do this. I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
Recklessly, unafraid to state his honest opinion. Classic Akihiko. He must understand that is his role. Certainly there are times when I need such opinions. And it's been a while since he went abroad. I think I understand his current mindset.
All right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, but make it quick.
He doesn't have to tell me twice. I take out my phone and bring up the contact list. We're inside the TV. I don't know what it might be like in there, but I do know someone that could help us. I was originally going to ask their help after when the Labrys was secure, but perhaps the time has come. Now, I've taken all possible precautions. Man, stop hiding things from me! The rest is a test of our resolve.
The other members will wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, we'll be devastated.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be staying behind as well.
I am not staying.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
The same as always. Although, we have no idea what might be waiting for us on the other side. Don't get careless.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
Ready!
Here comes Naruto again for absolutely no reason.
Why enter the TV? What's going on?
I'll place a bookmark before the first fight, because I am not good with Mitsuru at all.
Where am I? Is this inside the TV?
I remember being enveloped by a white light, but what came afterwards is unclear. Is this the world inside the TV? Oddly enough, the sight before me seems to be the main gate of a school. The name engraved on the entrance plate
Yasogami
is...
High School. I do recall that name from our map of Inaba. An existing high school has been completely recreated inside the TV?
Then I came to a realization. I've encountered something much like this before. It doesn't appear to be much different from the reality as far as appearances, but it has that distinctive, sticky atmosphere. The Labrys Tartarus was our battleground 3 years ago. It bears a lot of similarity to this. No, it doesn't! No, I mean, granted, it was Gekugan High School that made up Tartarus, but Tartarus was just a jumble. It did not try and mimic reality. It tried to, like, malign reality.
Where are the others? Akihiko! I guess.
A-Twins! Being separated won't do anything to further our mission. Perhaps if I use my communication power to get in touch with them.
I can't reach them through my persona either. This place is highly unusual.
I wonder why that changes. It's still barely functioning, but the noise here is severe. I'll need to understand this world a little better and find a quiet place to concentrate. As I check my surroundings again for any enemies, I hear the sound of footsteps. I tense, making myself ready for anything. But when I turn around, a uniformed girl stops, looking at me in bewilderment. I didn't expect to meet someone else here, let alone a seemingly ordinary schoolgirl like this. Could her age and outfit belie a connection to the theft of Labrys? But after the girl's surprise fades, she still seems confused by my appearance. Seems even here in another dimension people are startled by my attire. At least her rejection allayed my suspicions. People reveal something of themselves when they're caught off guard. Anyone in the act of committing a crime couldn't fake being perplexed so naturally.
Did I surprise you? I suppose my outfit is somewhat unusual.
Oh.
Why are you here?
Well,
A loud cheer suddenly swells, cutting off our conversation. There's definitely a crowd present in here. I look around the area in confusion.
Where is that coming from?
Students appear one after the other, clearly intrigued to see us here.
What's going on?
Before I can react, the image appears on the monitor, buried beneath the bizarre decorations.
Hello! Hello! This is General Teddy, your benevolent dictator!
And I, Rosette, am your commentator. It's time for the next round in the P1 Grand Prix.
Come on, Mitsuru, you should know who Rosette
Ready
is.
to fight?
P1 Grand Prix? Fight?
Oh, come on, Mitsuru! Suddenly, on the one in the ridiculous costumes queue, the smoke pours out around us. A spotlight shines from somewhere directly upon me. I instinctively raise my arm to shield my eyes from the harsh light. It feels like I'm being displayed for an audience.
And who do we have for Yuki-chan's opponent this time? Ooh, it's a mysterious, beautiful lady. How unexpected!
Teddy, what's wrong?
Do you know that bear?
The monitor shows the one in the costume calling himself General Teddy suddenly fuzzes over with static. The static gets worse and worse, until an eerily expressionless bear costume that looks as though it forgot how to make facial expression appears on screen. The voice is now the same as before, but its tone is harsh and mechanical now.
Case 04, unintended intruder. Entering elimination process.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, Mitsu.
What's going on?
As soon as the abnormality registers, I feel a bizarre noise. It's like something scratching against my whole body. Was that some kind of attack? It didn't seem to have any effect on me, but the girl standing beside me underwent quite a change.
Who do you think you are, showing up alone like this?
Oh, interesting. So, I'm guessing because Mitsuru's persona is able to do, like, mental communication, she is not affected by, psychic attacks. But whereas everyone else is.
It's no use trying to talk your way out of it. There's nothing to discuss. You don't even try to understand anyone anyway.
Wait, what?
If you want to wall yourself off from everyone, I'll be happy to end your lonely life here.
The girl's face was distorted with hatred as she spits her words at me. It's a far cry from her early demeanor. It's as if she's a completely different person. And that's not all. Understandably, she seemed not to know me before, but now she speaks as if she does. What is this? Could it be the effect of the noise I sensed?
Smug for long. Come, Konohana Sakuya.
A persona?
The girl spreads her fan in her hand with a flash of light a persona manifests. How careless of me. I should have accounted for the possibility as soon as I saw her here in this world.
We won't be settling this peacefully, I see. In which case...
I ready my evoker and concentrate.
Artemisia.
Power rises within me as a sensation in my limbs tells me my persona has emerged, but my hand holding the evoker is still at my side. My persona, did it appear without the use of my evoker to trigger it? Did I summon it only by thinking? Theoretically, one doesn't need an evoker to summon one's persona. I didn't have one the day my persona first manifested. I've done it without one several other times as well. But never before have I summoned it so easily without any special concentration. It's as if my consciousness is reaching far beyond the boundaries of my body. By way of analogy, it feels like being able to control the wind with my fingertips. Could it be because this world is special? The girl's voice brings me back to the situation at hand. Which reminds me, the girl doesn't seem to use any special implements to summon either.
Persona user. Fine. I still won't lose.
Sorry, but I won't be defeated either.
That makes more sense, because I've noticed on their final attacks and such, they use their evokers, but generally they don't, and I kind of wondered about that when I played online. Oh yeah, I'm fighting. I better save. Mitsu. Kirijo!
Finally!
Yukiko Senpai understands who's taking the stage! That looked like it hurt!
Now before me!
Another one! Go for the opponent reading their moves! The opponent still has critical hit connected!
What?
Has the battle been decided? Oh my! They lost!
They sure did. Oh, I didn't mean to actually save, but oh well. I did. Once the battle ended, the monitor nearby switches on.
An irregularity has occurred. Multiple intruders detected. Emergency. Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
He obviously refers to myself and the others. Does he mean he's going to adjust his tactics in dealing with us at our various strengths? The way he said it did seem like a bad omen. I understand that we're considered to be intruders, but what did he mean by that? It seems that we're part of the tournament now, but what was the enemy's original plan? The monitor screen fuzzes again, and once more it shows the costume person as he originally appeared.
Hey, you need to let me know if you want to get in on the fun! But this is a unique situation, and you're one hot mama, so I'll make an exception. Just keep putting on a good show in your next bout, too!
Who are you? Why don't you take off that strange costume and show your face?
Hey now, I don't think a lady walking around in a cat suit like yours can talk to me about my bear suit. Enough with the questions. Move on!
Again? Yet another person hung up on my outfit? It's unlike me to let the enemy's words get under my skin so much. The monitor switches off with those cheeky words.
Is that costume thing the one who stole Labrys? If so, then what's the purpose of this bizarre tournament? Fine. I'll get a read on your location.
I quickly link my communicator and personas. My personas are suited to operational support more than direct combat. In my case, though, that power is secondary. We normally have a persona user specialized in that role, but with some specialized equipment I can get by. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area. The enemy must think he's keeping an eye on us, but he'll learn soon enough that he's not the only one with a bird's eye view of the situation. But before the layout of the place can become clear, an unexpected change occurs around me. The moment I use my power, noise runs through the students that had been spectating. In an instant, they turn into something like silhouettes that barely have human shapes. It seems their true colors have been exposed. Are they not human?
What? Were they shadows? If they were, I don't sense any hostility from them. Were they just set dressing that thing in the costume prepared?
Apparently, this disturbance isn't so serious that the large crowd cheering implied. It was made up entirely of people who entered the TV, which leaves it a mystery, but it's best to consider it a blessing.
It appears that apart from this girl here, none of those students were real.
The girl who had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I released my persona and rushed over to help her up. I wasn't fighting it to my fullest. So she shouldn't be suffering from any real wounds. There are many mysteries surrounding this girl. It seems to be more than just associated with the one in the bear costume. The moment the girl sees me, she says back like a startled animal. Her speech is flustered, her face is bright, blushing red. There are tears in her eyes.
How come you knew about that?
About what?
That was private. I never even told anyone at the inn about that. I can't believe someone I've never even met before knew.
The girl covers her reddened face in shame. I try and think back to what I said to her. Did I point out anything that would cause such a reaction? One detail jumps out at me. When the girl's manner of speech shaped before our battle, it wasn't just her personality that abruptly changed. Though we had just met, she talked as if she knew more than she could about my past.
That noise I sensed earlier is gone.
Yet the girl before me no longer bears any of the senseless animosity from before.
Seems to have been some kind of interference from the enemy. Come to think of it, that bear was egging us on. The interference must have been to ensure two total strangers would fight. General Teddy, was it? He looked comical enough, but he certainly put an elaborate scheme in motion.
No! How could Teddy...
She seems to have finally calmed down, but considers muttering
You know the one in costume, I take
Expression!
Oh, I know him very well. He's usually not like this at all.
I take the girl's hand again and help her to her feet.
Mitsuru Kirijo. I've come here in search of a unique object. Why don't we start over? If you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little about yourself.
Yes. Oh, my name's Yukiko Amagi. I'm sorry for losing my composure just now.
So, Amagi, why did you come to this world?
Where to start? So many strange things happened over the last year.
At first glance, she looks like an ordinary student, so why is she here inside the TV? Amagi briefly summarized her recent past in an even tone of voice. According to her, this world was prominent in a serial murder case last year. She and her friends awakened to their personas while investigating the case and eventually solved it. At the case's conclusion, this world formed by people's thoughts returned to its original state. None of this contradicts what I learned from Detective Kirijo.
A realm inside a TV, formed by people's thoughts. It sounds absurd, but that would explain the incongruity I sensed when I used my persona.
We thought the case had been solved, but lately there's been another strange program on the air. My friends and I couldn't ignore that, so we came back here.
Your friends? Are there others here besides yourself?
Yes, I was with 3 other people, but we got separated when we entered. The one in costume and the girl who called herself Rosette are friends of ours too, but they're acting so strangely.
So this is not the way they generally behave, then?
I can tell from Amagi's reaction that normally she trusts these two implicitly. Considering what the enemy did to her earlier, could they be under its control as well? Either way, it sheds no light on the theft of Labrys. How are they related? Or is this incident only coincidence?
There's one more thing I'm curious about. Have you ever heard the name Labrys?
Labrys? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it?
It's the thing I'm searching for. What makes it problematic is that I know nothing of its appearance. Honestly, I'm not sure it has anything to do with this disturbance, though I can't write it off completely as irrelevant.
Though it appears that there is no connection, whoever went so far to hijack a plane to steal Labrys and brought her all the way here. No matter how I look at it, that means something.
Thank you for your cooperation. I understand the situation better now. We should stay together going forward.
Whoa! Think again, lady!
General Teddy suddenly appears on the screen to interrupt our conversation.
Only the winner of each bout can go on. That's rule number 1 in the Grand Prix.
How exactly can that rule be enforced? As if to answer my unspoken question, Amagi makes an odd gesture.
There's nothing here, but I can feel something. A wall, maybe? Wait, but Mitsuru-san could...
Amagi looks at me expectantly. I take a tentative step and walk through the place where she claims there's a wall.
Like I said, you're stuck there until the tournament's over. Only winners get to go. Come on, miss. You won. So it's time to barrel forward to the next stage.
I must leave the girl alone in this strange world, then. Though I'm uneasy about doing so, Amagi seemed to read my thoughts and smiles.
But I'll be all right. I fought shadows for an entire year, too. I can protect myself.
I see. In that case, I'll press on and do my best to rescue your friends.
If you see them, please tell them I'm all right and they shouldn't worry about me. You be careful too, Mitsuru-san.
Amagi smiles resolutely. She's a very strong girl.
I'll pass that along.
I nod, acknowledging her wishes, and turn to walk away.
They tamper with our minds. They prevent us from leaving until the tournament is settled. It may not necessarily ruin friendships, but there's no way forward than to fight one another. What a loathsome trick. It seems the mastermind is intent on us fighting each other.
I grit my teeth in anger. Amagi's clear eyes remain in my heart. The operation is no longer just to retrieve Labrys. I make a silent vow as I go. Everyone who is dragged into this must be rescued. Well, as soon as someone wins, all the barriers go down, so that's pretty easy to accomplish.
Another dead end.
As I step into the school, I realize that these invisible walls are everywhere, blocking out routes that seem open to the naked eye. Why is the thief who stole Labrys gathering Persona users in this world? Not having a clear idea of motivations is aggravating to my anxiety. Aigis and Akihiko may be dragged in this Grand Prix as well, so we have to compare notes. If all goes well, we may figure out the location of the mastermind behind this that I failed to grasp earlier. After quickly confirming there are no shadows nearby, I link my communicator with my persona. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting through the surrounding area.
So lonely.
What was that?
The presence is faint, and I can't tell where it is, yet I can definitely hear a voice. It seems that I can sense it because of my secondary support capabilities. When I focus harder, it doesn't seem like they're trying to communicate with me. It's more like these words and the intense emotions behind them are seeping out into the room, out of the room itself, perhaps even from all around me. Eventually, the voice becomes clearer.
I'm scared. I'm alone. It hurts. Why? Why won't anyone listen?
I don't recognize the voice. Perhaps one of Amagi's friends.
I didn't ask to be born a machine. How come no one understands? What's the difference between normal people's hearts and mine?
A machine? Is that Labrys?
I stand up and try calling to her.
Are you nearby? Answer me.
But there is no answer. It seems that that's not because the voice owner is nearby that I can hear her. It is subtly different from hearing voices with one's own ears. It's true. I focus my senses once again, but I can't tell exactly where it's coming from. Not yet having a thorough command of the layout here makes it harder to pinpoint. Eventually the voice fades. Only
Going
silence
by what
remains.
she said, that had to have been Labrys. Sounds as if her heart has developed further than we thought.
Even Aigis, the latest model, required a lot of time and experience to develop the heart she has. So then why does Labrys, who's been sealed in her development up until now, have such an advanced heart?
I didn't ask to be born a machine. It pains me to hear that.
The anti-shadow suppression weapons. Both Aigis and Labrys were created as insurance for dangerous shadow experiments in case the subject should go berserk. The only thing that can stand up to a shadow is a persona, and being able to control one is an absolute necessity when dealing with shadows. Thus they were given hearts in order to be able to induce their ability to use personas. But a weapon that has a heart contradicts itself. It was natural for Aigis to face that contradiction, and it caused her serious anguish in the past.
We can't allow victims like her to be tormented by sins of the past, whether they're human or not.
Newly resolved, I press on.